start it up. Deke Gordon got last night rolling inside the park in a blink of an eye. His first home run. Muscle up. Justin Bour brought the hammer down. A much-needed power show. Close the door. A.J. Ramos shut the lid on a 5-3 Marlins win. Marlins and Giants again tonight. Tonight, Marlins and Giants, game 2 of a 3-game set for the Fish. A real nice feel-good win last night. Roof shut, rolling windows closed, AC on, and Deke Gordon hopeful that in 2 days he ends up as the starting second baseman for the National League in the All-Star game. The rest of the Fish with their eyes on this man, Chris Heston. Dan Herron gets the ball for Miami. Tonight, hi everybody, Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hutton. Welcome to Miami. Much needed win for the ball club, and they did it in a lot of areas last night.
Well, there were a lot of good things happening in the ball game last night. The speed of Deke Gordon, the power of Justin Bour, and some tremendous defensive plays as well.
Speed kills, speed thrills. And there's no more thrilling play in baseball than an inside-the-park home run. You look at what Deke Gordon has done, rank and file, his numbers just incredible.
Yeah, first of all, keep in mind there's still time to vote for Deke Gordon for that All-Star team. Leading the league in hits. Look at the batting average. Right now, Deke Gordon working on an 11-game hitting streak, hitting .347 during that time. For D, believe it or not, that was his first inside-the-park home run of his career. It was also the first inside-the-park home run here at Marlins Park.
Marlins.com to vote for Deke Gordon. There is still a couple days left in the All-Star voting. Pitching matchup in this one. Dan Herron goes for Miami. He's been terrific all year. He has deserved a better fate the last 2 times out.
He really has, Rich. And, boy, his start in San Francisco, Dan Herron did it all. Look at the pitching line, 8 hits, 2 runs in his 7 innings. He was also 2 for 3 with a double and an RBI. He's pitched well against the Giants in his career. A 7-6 mark, but a .292 career ERA against San Francisco.
What's to make of Deke Gordon's college roommate, Chris Heston?
Well, Chris Heston's got a lot of family, a lot of friends on tap to watch him. A couple of starts ago, he was pretty good in New York against the Mets. A no-hitter for Chris Heston. He's actually pitched all right since that time, but the 27-year-old out of Palm Bay, a little extra pressure on him tonight, I think, with everybody watching.
Should be fun. Christian Yelich back on track when we return. Jeff Conine, Craig Minervini will dissect the sweet swing of Christian Yelich. Ready, so are Craig Minervini and Jeff Conine.
Absolutely, and those two guys are big factors for the Marlins, especially in the ball game last night. Yelich has done a nice job coming on, not only last night, Jeff, but we've seen it the last several weeks at home in particular, and the swing's starting to get there.
Well, it really is starting to get there. When you have injuries in the early part of the season like Christian Yelich did, you battle mechanics, you battle trying to get that sweet swing that he has back on track. But it's coming back. You look what he's done in June, 286. We see signs of the power. You see signs of the extra base hits starting to come back. And he's going to be fine.
Yeah.
You look at this guy's swing, especially in the super slow-mo cameras that we have, and you're not going to find many smoother, more refined swings at lefty in baseball. You look at the extension, look at the rotation of his arms and how close they are at impact. That is extension that you don't see too often in a lefty swing. And he's a student of the game. He gets into his at-bats extremely well. You see him now start to take more pitches, see more pitches, which he did extremely well last year. And that's a good sign for Christian Yelich. He's going to be fine.
He's hitting .375 last 16 at home. Is there anything about his approach? Saw him take a walk last night.
That's his approach. That's his game. He gets deep into counts and picks out that one pitch he can really handle and do some damage with. And we've been seeing a lot more of that lately.
And if you see him take a walk, that's a good sign.
Great sign for Christian Yelich because he does like take a lot of walks. 373 on base percentage last year.
That's big. All right, something to watch for in the game tonight. See if Yelich can help lead the Marlins. Christian will be batting second in the lineup in front of D. Gordon, or after D. Gordon, in front of Adeiny Echeverria. All right, Dan Herron and Chris Heston, the rookie, next on Fox Sports Florida, Game 2.
Brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Dan Herron on his way out. The Marlins and the Giants. Game 2, 4-game series in San Francisco. They split them. Marlins got game 1 last night. This would be Bruce Bochy's lineup tonight. JM Lexus brings it to you. Angel Pagan in center. Joe Panik at second. Matt Duffy's at third base. Buster Posey, homer and a double last night. Brandon Belt's at first. Brandon Crawford's at short. Gregor Blanco out in left field. Justin Maxwell gets a start in right. And Chris Heston is in the 9 spot.
Yeah, the three-time All-Star Dan Herron gets ready to work, and he's going to work against the ball club he's had good success against. 7-6 in his career, but a .292 ERA against San Francisco. You see the numbers for Herron this year, and as Rich pointed out in our opening, the win-loss column could be a lot different. He's gotten burned in a couple of games.
And so Herron gets Angel Pagan, Joe Panik, Matt Duffy. Pinch Penny brings you the first pitch. Angel Hernandez calls it a strike, and this ball game is underway. It's 0-1 to Pagan. And that one over the head of D. Gordon. Angel Pagan leads off with a hit. Now 7 for 12 against Dan Herron. How about some defense brought to you by BMW?
Well, with Yelich, Ozuna, and Cole Gillespie getting the start tonight. He's in right field. He can play all three outfield spots. Dietrich, Echeverria, Gordon, and Bohr around the infield. And JT Realmuto behind the plate.
Dan Herron had a couple of stints in the National League West. So there are some Giants that have some extensive numbers against him. As I noted, Pagan has hit him quite well. 7 for 12 is Pagan. This is Panik. He's 0 for 5 against him. Herron was a Dodger last year and a nice run as an Arizona Diamondback as well. Pagan 4 stolen bases.
Yeah, right now the Giants leader in stolen bases, Nori Aoki, is on the disabled list. He has 12. So you don't see Bruce Bochy have a lot of straight steals. He'll have runners on the go. He'll put on the hit and run.
Panik a couple hits last night, and he fouls that one back to the screen. That's 2-1. Marlins beat the Giants last night 5-3. 6 innings from both starters, Ryan Vogelsong and Matt Latos. D. Gordon inside the park home run, a 3-run homer. Two-one runner goes, hit and run, ground ball second, got a shot there, got him there, and Echeverria turns it. Gordon, Echeverria to Bohr. Even with Pagan on the move.
There's a perfect example of Bruce Bochy not having steals, so to speak, but runners in motion. Hit and run is on. This is not easy to turn, mainly because Pagan is right on Echeverria because he was on the move. But a quick flip by D. Notice how instead of the backhand flip, the way he turned it over to Echeverria, he was a little far away to backhand it. So good job by D. Gordon.
Matt Duffy now at third base in the 3-hole. Duffy last night 0 for 4. He hasn't had many 0-fers lately. He's been one of the hotter bats for the Giants. You can see 65 games. The Giants fortunate to have Duffy. Casey McGee didn't quite work out at third base, and Duffy in his spot has worked out quite well and really has blossomed. And we told the story last night. This is a guy at Long Beach State that didn't hit over 300, didn't slug over 300, didn't homer in his career, and now all of a sudden he's hitting third for the defending world champs. Lines it to right. That's Gillespie out there. And Cole Gillespie makes the catch. And Dan Herron gets through the first. crowd still arriving on a busy concourse tonight. Miami's lineup, it's brought to you by JM Lexus. Leadoff spot, you got D. Gordon, Christian Yelich in left. Danny Echeverria hits third. Justin Bour in the cleanup spot. JT Real Muto hot, and he's elevated and hits fifth. Derek Dietrich at third. Marcell Ozuna is out in center field. Cole Gillespie gets to start, and Dan Herron hits ninth. And there's a look at Chris Heston. And the two roommates, yes, they were roommates at Seminole Community College. Heston and D. Gordon meet here in the big leagues.
Yeah, Heston actually took over in the rotation in April 8th. He took the Matt Cain spot and has earned his spot with the numbers he's put up. He was a 29th round pick by the Nationals out of Seminole Community College, then went back and was a 12th round pick by the Giants.
Breaking ball misses out. One and two. Fastball up. Yeah, there they are. Seminole Community College. They were conference champions. They won the Mid-Florida Conference. That's a strike, a high strike. And Gordon walks behind Angel Hernandez. Well, he barely got the letters. And so D. Gordon is out. Giants, very good team defensively. That was a fine play by Pagan last night. It's brought to you by BMW.
Yeah, they have Gregor Blanco in left, Pagan and Maxwell. Justin Maxwell starts. Duffy, Crawford, Panic, and Belt are on the infield. And tonight, Buster Posey does the catching.
Christian Yelich, 7 for his last 10, including a 1 for 3 last night with a walk and a double. Heston elevates a fastball. Tommy talked about the no-hitter he had in New York against the Mets. He didn't walk anybody. He struck out 11, but he hit 3. And he leads the National League with 7 hit batters this year.
Yeah, the no-hitter came in just his 13th Major League start.
Danny Echeverria on deck. Starting to see Yelich get into deep counts again with 3-ball, 1-strike counts. See if he gets a pitch he likes. Yeah, he liked it, and he just missed it.
No, he liked it, and he had a good cut.
Two.
Let's see what the scouting report tells us about Chris Heston. Upper 80s, he's touched 90. He'll go 91 at times. A lot of ground balls. And from being designated by San Francisco and then unclaimed, he went from that to pitching a no-hitter in the big leagues. How about that?
Yeah, that was 2013. The Giants DFA'd him, as they say. Nobody claimed him, so he re-signed with the Giants. Got to the big leagues at the end of last year, and this year, with the injury to Matt Cain, found himself with a shot in the rotation. He's pitched quite well. Here's Echeverria now. You got speed at first with Yelich.
I think you can see, too, in watching him work with that fastball, a lot of movement. Not afraid to work it in, have it come back and catch the corner. It's probably why he'll hit a few batters on occasion.
Echeverria pulls it to short. Crawford to Panic on to Belt in time. Both pitchers use a doubleheader to get out of the first. tomorrow, obviously, an important day for the Marlins and for Jose Fernandez. We start our coverage at 11:30 in the morning. 12:10 first pitch. Dan Herron first pitch to Buster Posey is a strike. If you are coming to the game tomorrow, make sure you give yourself a little extra time to get downtown, get yourself parked, and get yourself in. If you don't have parking yet, Marlins.com/parking, and get your tickets tonight. There will be a big walk-up crowd. A lot of people buying tickets tomorrow. It's also a camp day, so there's going to be a lot of kids at the ballpark as well. So if you're planning on coming and you don't have tickets, do yourself a favor, buy them tonight. You get yourself some parking, or know exactly where you're going to go to park tomorrow. Should be a great day here at Marlins Park. We can't wait. Here on Fox Sports Florida, Matt Cain is the opponent for the Jose Fernandez start. Both these guys haven't pitched in a year. For Jose, almost 14 months. For Cain, about a year. 3-2 to Buster Posey.
Yeah, the last time Cain started at the major league level, July 9th. And of course, for Jose, it was May 9th of last year in San Diego. There's Matt Cain. Flexor tendon strain that kept him on the shelf for a while. I think it was tender too.
That's it. It was. The tendon was tender, and that was the initial alarm. 3-2. Posey hits a blast to center. Ozuna is back and there and makes the catch. Not much time left to vote for your favorite All-Stars. The 2015 Esurance All-Star Game ballot. You can vote 35 times per email address at marlins.com/vote. Obviously, you want to go D. Gordon and Giancarlo Stanton. Even though Stanton is hurt, love to see him named as a starter. And Adeiny Echeverria, a guy that has drawn some attention as well. There's Brandon Belt.
Of course, a lot of the decisions are made for Bruce Bochy, but still, as the manager of the All-Star team, he'll have a few that he'll have to make himself.
Yeah, little by little, they've taken as much out of the manager's hands as possible. You've got the fans vote in the starters, the players vote in that first line of reserves and pitchers, some pitchers, and then the league and the manager get together and take a look at the roster and which cities don't have a player yet.
You have the feeling in talking with Bochy that if he can get a Joe Panik on the team, he will. Just loves the way he's played. His numbers are certainly deserving. So to be there as a backup.
Belt fouls it back to the screen. Full count. Bell was in left field last night, first base tonight. Posey going from first to behind the plate tonight.
Yeah, most of his starts have been at first base. 6 or 7 starts in left field. All the others have been over first base. He's a little more comfortable there, but he made a couple of nice catches last night.
He's homered in his career against Herron. 3 hits in 9 ABs, and he rips that one down the right field line. Gillespie over to get it. Belts around first, on his way to second, and he's in there with a double. His 19th double of the season.
He's been in a little bit of a cold spell. He's hit in 6 of 9, but just a little over 200 during that time.
Giants have a couple hits now. And here is Crawford. Maybe no Giant in uniform today can fully appreciate where the Giants have been in their history and where they are now than Brandon Crawford. He grew up a Giants fan. His father had season tickets.
Boy, they suffered through many a game at Candlestick on a cold night.
Crawford grew up in Pleasanton. He made his way down to Southern California. Was the most valuable player twice for Jeff Conine's UCLA Bruins. And Crawford fouls it back and out of play.
Yeah, he's really had a strong first half. He's tied his career high with 10 home runs. He had 10 home runs all of last year.
Always known for his glove. He had a big home run last year in the wild card game, a grand slam in Pittsburgh. And Herron thought that was a strike. He saw him freeze and then stare in at Angel Hernandez. Here's a look.
Watch this two-seamer come back. It certainly looked like it did, but nope, just missed inside.
Hernandez stuck to the call. It was in. Counts 1-2. That one out. So Herron tried both sides of the plate. He missed in and he missed out. So now it's 2-2. Shallow right center. Ozuna makes the catch. Now Blanco.
Well, the Marlins win last night makes them 3-2 against San Francisco this year. Remember, they split that 4-game series at AT&T.
Blanco is not a name that's familiar to the fish killer team. I mean, you think about some of the guys that have done the major damage, but Blanco against the Marlins in his career has eaten them alive, and in this ballpark he's been really good. He was 1 for 4 last night. He misses out.
You almost, Rich, have to sneak him on as a fourth outfielder on that Marlins all-killer team.
Right now he has the highest batting average among active players with at least 100 plate appearances. 409 in this ballpark, 377 in his career.
So he's not going to replace Andre Ethier.
No, because Ethier has
a larger track record.
I want to say over 200 at bats.
Yes.
Blanco sits at 130 at bats. And he dumps that one left center. Yelich is on the spot and makes the catch. Scoreless here.
Second was a big hit for Justin Bour in the ball game yesterday. Nice to see some home runs for the Marlins. The inside of Barker from D. Gordon, and of course Justin Bour going deep, which brings us to a very interesting stat. Giancarlo Stanton on an exclusive list, as he is one of only 4 players since 1946 to hit better than 42% of his team's homers, led by Sam Chapman. Mike Schmidt's on the list from 1981. You see the great late Ralph Kiner, Hall of Famer, who hit 54 of the Pirates' 126 in 1949. But as for Chapman, after you look at Stanton's 42%, 42.2 now this year, with his 27 of 64, Sam Chapman is a guy not many people know too much about. He had a nice major league career. He missed a good chunk of it, as many did in his time serving in World War II. He served in the United States Navy. He was a pilot and instructor, played only 9 games from 1942 to 45, but he had a very productive major league career, hit 180 homers, and also a talented two-sport guy who's elected to the College Football Hall of Fame. He played and won the Rose Bowl for California back in 1938. So that answers the question, who is Sam Chapman? Rich?
Looked like he had a great career in a lot of different places. Certainly in the military during World War II. You go to the Hall of Fame. And Cal had a really nice football program back in the 30s.
Good job by Justin Bour with the shift on. He found that hole a little to the right of Joe Panik, the second baseman.
Justin Bour with a base hit. And here's JT Realmuto. 3 for 4 last night. The ball really been jumping off his bat over the last week. He's got his average right at 250 after being down in the low 200s for a while. Pitch outside from Heston. It's a ball and a strike.
Heston's done a pretty good job on the road as well. 5-1 record away from AT&T.
The Giants are the best in the National League away from home. 21-16. And they average over 5 runs a game. Both of those are the best marks in the National League. They have not lost a road series since late April against the Dodgers. That's amazing. And of course, the Marlins, if they win this game, it gives them the series win.
Well, it's a new month. Here we are on July 1st.
Realmuto busted his bat against a new piece of wood. Some rain in Atlanta tonight. The Nationals and the Braves delayed. Should send our buddy Joe Simpson a nice note.
Joe and Chip probably happy at the rain delay. Gives them time to catch up on a little work.
1-2 in the dirt.
Yeah, the Nationals have just owned the Atlanta Braves. They've won 9 straight against Atlanta. They're 9-1 against the Braves this year.
Cubs are in New York to take on the Mets. That's a scoreless game in the bottom of the second. Cubs and Mets play a 1 o'clock game tomorrow. We had an emailer last night asking us why the Marlins and the Giants play a 12-10 game tomorrow. It's because the Marlins have a day game to open that series at Wrigley on Friday. 3-2. Realmuto pushes it right side. Belt takes a look at second, gets the out at first. Justin Bour resides at second. And here comes Derek Dietrich. You can stay social with the Marlins. Follow at Fox Marlins on Twitter and Instagram. Get exclusive behind-the-scenes Miami Marlins coverage straight from your Fox Sports Florida telecast.
So, Rich, we'll see a little bit of the new look Wrigley Field on Friday.
Bleachers, I believe the bleachers are done in both right and left field.
Yes, they are. Right field was the last to come.
New scoreboard.
New scoreboard.
It does not yet have that new ballpark smell, though. There's Dietrich.
That's because the booths are still old.
Well, I want to say it's a 5-year renovation. Each season they're going to bite off a piece of the renovation.
Then you know when contractors tell you 5 years, it'll be 6.
Dietrich takes in. Derek last night had a walk and a hit, was 1 for 3.
A couple of guys in the lineup that you'd like to see get back on track, struggling a bit. Dietrich 2 for his last 17. Ozuna, who's on deck, 1 for 22.
Pitches in as well. That's 2-1. News around baseball today, Jerry Dipoto stepping down as the Los Angeles Angels general manager.
Kind of interesting situation. You know, you think about it, in the last week or 10 days, we've had a manager step down, Ryan Sandberg, now a general manager.
Dietrich takes that changeup out, and it's 3-1. That's ball 4. Dietrich walks. First and second, 1 out, and here is Ozuna.
Well, I'll tell you what, Heston was consistent in trying to work Dietrich inside the inner half of the plate. Dietrich was consistent in taking the pitches that were just off the plate.
There's the Fox tracks. Yeah, pitch 5. Looked like it was just off the plate. Ozuna fouls it off of Posey. That did not feel good. And even though it's a mask, the concussion type action that you get on that mask that just rocks you.
Buster Posey saying to himself, I didn't have to deal with that last night at first base.
No, he was spry around the bases last night too, after not being behind the plate for a few days. Ozuna bounces one up the middle. Crawford, that's panic. That's 2. Double play. And the Giants turn their second double play.
to write down, and I like to see what I'm going towards, my goals, and I like to write down my goals. You know, and July 2nd was a day that I liked for no reason. That the doctor, the team, everybody was happy with, and I think that I think hopefully it's going to be a really special day.
And that day is upon us as Dan Herron delivers first pitch of the third inning. Justin Maxwell takes it for a strike, and it's 0-1. That day upon us. Tomorrow, 11:30 start, Marlins live, 12:10 first pitch. Marlins and Giants, Jose Fernandez and Matt Cain. A game that will draw an incredible amount of interest locally and nationally. 1 for Fernandez, obviously. 2 for Cain, a guy that's been a linchpin of the Giants rotation for the past 10 years. He comes back from his injury and a variety of surgeries from July of last year up until now.
Boy, a guy who has come up big for the Giants in postseason as well.
It must have been odd for Cain watching the postseason last year. Madison Bumgarner kind of
stepped in and took over that role.
Took everybody and put him on his shoulders and handled the job. Maxwell shoots it through the right side. Leadoff hit for the Giants, their 3rd hit of the ball game. And Chris Heston, the pitcher, probably going to try to bunt Maxwell up.
Sacrifice bunting has been an area where a couple of Marlins have really excelled. Nicely done there by Heston. Matt Latos and Dan Herron each with 7 sacrifice bunts.
So the Giants push Maxwell in scoring position. Here is Pagan and then Panic, and we noted early that Pagan with nice numbers, not a huge sample size, but nice numbers against Dan Herron. And with his hit, Pagan now 7 for 12. He has homered. Also has a double and a triple.
Well, it's a big enough sample size to pique the interest of Pagan, because coming into the game he really struggled hitting under 200 over the last 18 games, but all of a sudden, most hitters, I've said this before, they won't know the exact numbers, but he knows that he's had some success against Herron.
There's a 1-1. It's down low. Last night, D. Gordon snapped a run of 674 at bats without a home run. So he's off the list. He had an inside the park home run. Guess who's next? Angel Pagan. 566 at bats without a home run, which is odd because Pagan has always been a guy that, you know, runs into one every now and then, sprays it in the gaps.
Yeah, when you told me that earlier, that surprised me. D. Gordon, by the way, that was his 5th career home run. D hit 2 last year with the Dodgers.
Herron runs the count full, 3-2. Justin Maxwell in scoring position. Giants had Brandon Belt out there with 1 out in the 2nd, and Herron pitched around that. Big swing and a foul tip. Real Muto holds it.
Good job by Dan Herron to get a tough hitter, a guy that's had success against him. When you foul tip this ball, look how he peeks around. One of the first things you do, you want to see if that catcher caught it or if you have life. And you saw his reaction once he saw Real Muto caught that foul tip.
Joe Panic now. And a breaking ball from Herron for a strike. Panic bounced into a double play back in the first. Hopewell Junction, New York, home for Joe Panik, St. John's University, where he was a shortstop. A good one and a first-round pick, 29th overall by the Giants.
Good numbers coming up in the minor leagues, close to 300.
Fouls that one back and out of play. He's a left-handed hitter, and last year he hit .373 against lefties. That's a sign you can play, isn't it?
Yeah, he's again, when we've talked to Bruce Bochy, he's one of those guys you just love to have. You don't have to worry about him. Solid defender. We've seen him turn a couple of nice double plays. Gives you a good at bat just about every time. On base percentage, .380.
Splits are pretty even this year. Aaron buries one. It's 2-2.
So you think about it, Rich. You have Crawford. Brandon Crawford is 28. Panik's 24. Posey. Buster Posey's 28. So the Giants pretty well set for the next few years up the middle.
You look around that infield too. Belt 27. Duffy's young. That's out.
And you think about it, on the other side, JT Realmuto starting to come into his own as a catcher, and we know Echeverria and D. Gordon are going to be together for a while.
Gordon is 27. Edge backhand spins on his feet to first, safe, ball gets loose, runner comes home and will score. And the Giants have a 1-0 lead, a throwing error on Danny Echeverria.
Well, this is a tough play all around. Panik gets up the line pretty well. Etch is completely turned around, and from this position it was really hard for him to plant and get much on the throw. They've actually given the error. It's a tough error either way. They've given the error to Justin Bohr at first base. So a base hit, but then the error allowing the run to come in and score. Tough error.
That brings Duffy up. So no RBI, a 1-0 lead, and a 1-1 count on San Francisco's third baseman Matt Duffy.
Well, we saw Justin Bohr make some really nice defensive plays last night.
Duffy, Echeverria. Wow. This time I'll get him. What a play by Danny Echeverria. Full out dive. And enough to get the out at second. he's still simmering about that throw to first. So a 1-0 start for the Giants. Bo Gillespie, his first at bat of the night. Then you got Dan Herron and D. Gordon. 8-9-1 in the Miami order.
I think it's a good move to get Cole Gillespie in. You hate to bring a guy up and then all of a sudden a guy who's been playing every day and then just sit him for a week or so. Some struggles for Ichiro, though Gillespie gets the start tonight.
Breaking ball, Gillespie hammers it to left, and it's going to the wall. Around first, Cole Gillespie with a leadoff double, and that has to feel good.
You bet
Oregon
it does.
State Beaver.
You bet it does. Yeah, then when you do get called up, you want to contribute. And he hasn't had that opportunity in a starting role. Gets a hanging breaking ball and puts a real good swing on that pitch from Heston.
Parts of 4 seasons in a major league uniform with a variety of teams. Has always hit well in the minor leagues and was hitting well in New Orleans. Let's see what Herron does here if he tries to push Gillespie to third. Fastball up from Heston.
One of the Marlins coaches that knows Gillespie as well as anybody. There are those numbers, by the way, with the sacrifice bunts. Latos and Herron on that list. Brett Butler managed Gillespie 3 years in Reno, AAA, when he was in the Arizona organization.
Butler told us today, very solid fundamentally, very capable, can play all 3 outfield spots and play them well. It's a strike. Counts 2-1. Boy, Brandon Belt really in tight at first. Aaron pops it foul. It's 2-2.
We talked about it, that game that Herron pitched against the Giants in San Francisco. Not only did he throw 7 really good innings, he was 2 for 3. Had a double, couple of RBIs.
Breaking ball, and Herron. Love to see that. Love to see that. Here comes Gillespie, the throw to the plate. He's in there.
That'll keep you from creeping in if you're a first baseman or a third baseman. I love to see that.
Dan Herron. And it ties the game at 1.
You got a little back control, use it. He shows butt, gets a hanger, and slaps it hard by Belt, the first baseman. Never had a chance to react.
And Gillespie scores. Here's D. Gordon. Whoa, that's a balk. Heston obviously slipped. And since he did not deliver the pitch, it's a balk. Let's hope he's all right. And here's a look.
That
Like
front spike caught.
And the left heel.
Well, it was a big day for Chris Heston yesterday. The mayor of Palm Bay was at the ballpark and presented Heston with the key to the city.
And that was in recognition of his no-hitter that he threw against the Mets. Apparently there were some Met fans that did not attend the ceremony.
Mayor William Capote.
Of course, Palm Bay is just north of Port St. Lucie, right?
North of Vero.
Oh, north of Vero.
North of Vero. From here, probably close to 3 hours, 2.5 maybe, if you step on it.
Ball and a strike to D. Gordon. Gordon pulls one. That's a fair ball. Down the line it goes. Aaron will score, and Gordon's thinking 3. D around second, and he'll get there easily. 2-1 Miami.
All right, why did D. Gordon do that? You know why? Because he was trying to pull a ball to get Herron over to third. Not only did he pull a ball, he got another ball by Belt, the first baseman. Watch him roll over. He's trying to pull a ball. He's just trying to do a job. You know my favorite saying, good things happen when you try to do those things. He gets it by Belt. Not only does he move Herron over, he drives him in, and he ends up at third base.
And now it's Gordon who's at third. Christian Yelich is the hitter. Dave Righetti a visit with Chris Heston. And Miami has a chance to add to their lead.
Giants infield back. Everybody except the third baseman, Duffy.
Yelich walked back in the first. Marlins have almost hit for the cycle here. Double by Gillespie, single by Herron. Gordon with a triple. Not sure how the balk figures in, but you can throw that in for good measure.
I think the balk figures in because it moved Herron to second, and then that changed the mindset of D. Gordon a little bit to try to pull a ball to get him over to third.
Belt's had a busy inning down there at first. 1-1.
Pretty good changeup from Heston.
It's 1-2.
6 years as a minor leaguer for Chris Heston.
Yelich fights it off.
That's a great play in the dugout.
Henderson Alvarez.
I think he is. Yeah, I was just going to say. I think it was Henderson Alvarez.
And that's just like he is on the mound. He makes an unconventional play on a ricochet. And thankfully, no one got hurt.
And a youngster got a souvenir. All right.
Another 1-2. It's out. And it's 2-2. Miami has 3 hits to open up this third inning. Yelich, one of the hotter Marlins right now. That one foul back. No ricochet on that one, but the last foul ball that ricocheted. Watch this.
A leap off the top step.
A great speed at third, D. Gordon. Yelich takes down low. 3-2. Infield still back. Duffy off the line and a few steps behind at third base. Pitch is in. Yelich walks.
Tell you what, Heston has missed a number of times to left-hander Dietrich and now Yelich in that same area. T-Mobile
game changer. time to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use FLD Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast.
See
brought to
those
you by T-Mobile.
Young girls have the Canadian shirts. It's Canada Day today.
Happy Canada Day, Tom.
Thank you.
Echeverria. There's one, and there's two. The Marlins will get the run, but Crawford and Panic turn a nice double play. Boy, you're seeing two of the better shortstops in the business in Crawford and Echeverria. Watch Crawford sweep this quickly.
And the key, his right foot, just before he catches it, he plants it, he moves it, plants it, makes the catch. Then a strong feed to Panic. The Marlins do get the run. No RBI for Echeverria, but the third straight double play the Giants have termed. 3 innings, 3 double plays.
The first and third of which came off the bat of Adeiny Echeverria. Here's Bohr with 2 outs and nobody on. It takes down low. Bohr blistered a hit right where the second base umpire is right now. If Ted Barrett had a glove, he would have been able to get Bohr out. Giants have the same shift on right now.
The Marlins have done a really good job, especially the left-handed bats, in laying off the pitches inside, breaking ball or fastball that Heston's throwing.
Ted Barrett, the man in blue out there. Count 3-0. Let's see if Bohr has a green light and gets something to take a rip at.
Ted Barrett, the crew chief of this umpiring crew.
Brandon Belt gets a short hop, gets to first, and gets the out. But Miami puts 3 on the board and leads it now 3-1. He's back, and he's back tomorrow here at Marlins Park. Jose Fernandez takes on the Giants. 12:10 start. Take advantage of discounted matinee pricing. Get a special Jose Head giveaway. Enjoy $1 hot dogs throughout the game. Go to Marlins.com now and secure your tickets for Jose Day. Dan Herron now with the lead. Breaking ball strike to Buster Posey. Brandon Belt, Brandon Crawford also due up for the Giants. Giants got their run in the third on an error. Error charge to Justin Bohr. Posey, another hit. Blast one into center. And Posey's been extremely hot in his last 6 games, including tonight. He's now 12 for 26.
Well, you can just tell by his approach, the way he's swinging the bat. 7-game hitting streak now. He came into the game 18 RBIs his last 10 games.
Here's Belt now. Miami's bounced into 3 double plays. Giants bounced into 1 in the first. Belt doubled down the right field line. Mets and Cubs are scoreless. On the top of the 4th. The rain is still present in Atlanta. Nationals and Braves delayed. Up the middle, Echeverria is there, collects it, whips it over, and Bohr can't hold it. It was an awkward position for Echeverria to be in. Let's watch it again.
I think he's going to be on himself again because the flip didn't have a whole lot on it. I think he could have got a little more on it, and he's going to be upset with himself. Justin Bohr is going to be upset. Not an easy play, but he's going to be upset he didn't pick it. But it certainly was there in time and would have been a double play.
Crawford hits one a ton, but foul. Giants shortstop popped to center his first time up. Oh, 0-2. Dan Herron right now looking for win number 7, one of the most durable starters in the game. 10 consecutive years with 30 or more starts. Flipped out to left. Yelich is there and makes the catch. An honor tonight to be on American Forces Network. United States Armed Forces serving around the world on ships at sea. To all of you, thank you for everything that you do for us. And welcome in to some National League Baseball. You've got the Miami Marlins, a team that has had their injury issues this year, and the defending world champion San Francisco Giants, who are neck and neck with the Los Angeles Dodgers for the top of the National League West.
Welcome in to our beautiful home here, Marlins Park.
Getting ready for the weekend. The Marlins will spend the 4th of July in Chicago. The Giants will spend the 4th in our nation's capital. We've been able to do that a few times while playing the Nationals. That is a great place to be on the 4th of July.
So let's see, the Marlins and millions of others will be in Chicago for the 4th of July weekend.
Big day on Sunday. You've got Marlins and Cubs live from Wrigley, and then the Women's World Cup Finals. Team USA against either Japan or England. Runner goes, pitches out, throw is not in time. Brandon Belt with his 3rd stolen base of the season.
Yeah, we talked about the Giants don't run a lot, but you know what? If you're not going to pay a lot of attention, and Belt not a base stealer, but he saw that Dan Herron didn't give him a real good look, and he took off.
1-2 to Blanco. Aaron already at 70 pitches, so he's had to extend himself in every inning. The 2nd gave up that double, and a leadoff single in the 1st, a pair of hits and a run in the 3rd.
Herron with more full counts than we usually see him.
Liner in center field, base hit, Belt around 3rd, no play at the plate. And the Giants are a run closer.
Thus the importance of that stolen base.
And there is Gregor Blanco in this ballpark again. Over 400 in his career here.
The 2-seamer comes back. He hits it off the end of the bat. Didn't hit it all that sharply. But because Belt was in scoring position, Giants get a run. Blanco an RBI.
Justin Maxwell, single back in the 3rd. Again tomorrow, 11:30 for Marlins Live. 12:10 first pitch. The game here on Fox Sports Florida. Jose Fernandez going for the Marlins. Matt Cain, after a year away, going for the Giants. That one fouled at the plate. South Florida Ford dealers, or excuse me, South Florida Honda dealers will bring you Marlins Live. Jose Fernandez in his own words, 2-part feature, which will be all over the pregame show. Runner goes, pitch a strike, throw to second is in time. He's out at second base. Blanco thrown out. Real Muto guns him down. And the Giants will settle for a run. Miami still leads it 3-2. Florida, brought to you by Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Price, service, selection. You're gonna love us. Now by Checkers, mix and match our famous Big Buford and Big Chicken Deluxe. Get 2 for $5. Checkers, it's in the bag. What a beautiful night here in South Florida. The Magic City all lit up. And an interesting ball game here. 3-2. Miami on top of San Francisco. Chris Heston gets JT Realmuto, Derek Dietrich, and Marcell Ozuna. Miami's half of the fourth inning. Strike one to Realmuto, who bounced out to first his first time up. One thing Chris Heston has done a nice job of this year is keeping the ball in the ballpark. He's allowed just 6 homers. This is start number 16. He's approaching 100 innings.
Well, if he keeps that curveball down, he keeps that two-seamer down, that's what he does best. He gets a lot of ground balls. That's helped him and his defense turn 3 double plays.
Full count, 3-2.
You mentioned, Rich, the 3 batters that Heston hit in his no-hitter. That was the first time since 1914 that a pitcher's thrown a no-hitter and hit more than 2 batters.
Realmuto dumps one into right field. That's a base hit. Maxwell picks it up.
A little muscle shot. Fight it off. JT will take it.
June 9th in New York. Here's some highlights from that no-hitter.
Notice where that curveball is in this game and how the two-seamer was moving and backing up.
How many pitching rotations in baseball can boast a number of guys that have pitched no-hitters?
Seems like every year the Giants have someone who's thrown a no-hitter.
And seems like, aside from Lincecum's 2 against the Padres, seems like a new guy. Kane had the perfect game. Lincecum 2. Runner goes, swing and a miss. Throw down to second, and that's an easy out. The Marlins hitting and running, or running and hitting, not sure. Posey throws a strike. Even Posey is looking up at the scoreboard, trying to see if maybe Realmuto was peeking.
I think it's hit and run. If it is, you just have to make the effort as a hitter to make contact. You make contact, you protect the runner.
Here's a look at Realmuto. There's the peak.
See, he's looking. It's a hit and run. So nothing wrong on the part of JT Realmuto, but the other half of that, Derek Dietrich didn't make contact. I think too, Rich, unless, and I remember being taught this and told this, unless you're an adept Martin Prado type, perfect number 2, and you're in the spot of Derek Dietrich, just hit the ball. Don't try to inside out, try to take it the other way. Just see the ball, hit it on the ground, try to protect the runner. And I think sometimes hitters who aren't real adept at that try to do too much.
I think the days have passed when sometimes a manager, in trying to get a struggling hitter going, would call a hit and run just to
that used to be all the time,
to free a guy's mind where he knows he's going to swing. Dietrich pulls it to second and it gets the out. You don't see that much anymore.
No, because you don't have as many hitters that make contact. You have more swings and misses. But you're right. Years ago, that was done. The manager would think, okay, a hit and run, there might be a hole in the infield. A guy who's struggling, if he makes contact, he might find that hole and come out of a slump.
Here's Ozuna. Ozuna crashes one deep left field, and it is foul. Wow. Just foul, but really deep.
Well, remember Marcell Ozuna, who has 4 home runs. 2 were hit in San Francisco. His first home run of the year was hit at AT&T. The guys gave him the silent treatment, remember, in the dugout. So half of his home runs this year have been hit against the Giants.
That ended up on the concourse. To Hopper. Panic handles it and gets the out at first. 4 innings in the books. Miami a run better than San Francisco.
Well, you know, what can I say? It's the best place. It's the best place that I pitch at. You know, the numbers never lie, like I say. But you know, I think that you know, pitching here is just amazing, man. I feel the love from the fans. I feel the support, and you know, it's just, I like to compete. You know, I like to show them that, you know, it is possible. It is possible to accomplish your dreams, and it is possible to be whoever you want to be in life.
And Jose wraps up that rehab process over 400 days, 13.5 months. Tomorrow afternoon we'll have it for you with the pregame 11:30 and at 12 o'clock, of course, the ball game. Long process. I asked him about patience, what he learned about himself. He said, well, it took a while. First 4 months, hardly any patience, but he learned, especially from his rehab coordinator, Ron Yakub, it's a process. Take your time. He asked a lot of questions because he likes to know why. And he said, when it all ended, I became a little more patient, and he said that's going to help me not only in pitching but in life as well. I asked him today, said, you going to sleep okay? Whoa, look out. You're going to sleep okay tonight? He said, no, probably not. Everybody's coming up to me saying, be calm, be calm, be calm. And he said that's impossible to be calm going in. But he hopes for a strike first pitch, gain his composure a little bit. May not sleep well tonight. Early game tomorrow. Have some fun after that long road back, guys.
Yeah, tomorrow will be some day. Herron, feeling like he might not get to the bag, smartly turns and tags Justin Maxwell for the first out of the 5th inning.
I think it's a good thing that it is a 12-10 game, and he doesn't have to sit around all day and wait for a night game. And I wouldn't be surprised, I know in talking with Dan Jennings, I wouldn't be surprised if Jeff Mathis is behind the plate. To, you know, the veteran, he'll do his best to try to calm him down.
Heston hammers one in the gap. A one-hopper off the wall. And Chris Heston Pulls in at second. Well, his roommate has a triple in the ball game. His roommate Dee Gordon back in Seminole Community College, and so Heston follows up with a double.
Breaking ball up. A lot of breaking pitches have been up in the zone, both sides tonight. And for Heston, that's his 8th base hit, so he swings the bat pretty well.
Now Angel Pagan, Joe Panic, and the Giants with a runner in scoring position and 1 out. Pagan singled in the first, struck out in the third. Yelich calling and makes the catch. That one angling away from Ozuna.
Good communication, though. I mean, either one could have made that catch, and yeah, the center fielder is the captain out there, but you saw the ball slicing more toward Christian Yelich, and he was right there. So good communication.
Again, we remind you, if you're coming to the ballgame tomorrow and you don't have tickets, you probably want to get them online tonight or tomorrow morning. There is expected to be a large walk-up. So a lot of people will be trying to buy tickets at the ballpark tomorrow. You can beat them at marlins.com/tickets. As well, you can also pre-purchase parking and get down here a little early. Come on down, enjoy the $1 hot dogs as well. You don't want to show up at noon, because then you're going to miss the first pitch.
You want to see the first pitch. Absolutely.
Counts 0-2. You got Heston, the runner, at second. Panic takes away. Tommy talking about Panic's numbers, I think better than most people realize. And the Giants as a whole offensively are better than a lot of people realize. Best hitting team, one of the best on base percentage teams, one of the best slugging percentage teams.
Panic's third in the league with 90 hits.
Yeah. And he's got 20 doubles.
He's a ways from Dee Gordon, who has 114. But there has to be somebody in third place.
Popped up. Foul territory. Echeverria and Dietrich. Dietrich there. And he makes the catch. It's a tricky play. Dietrich makes it. And the Giants are done in the 5th. Yankees in a game you can only see on Fox Sports 1. It starts at 12:30 Eastern. 7 Eastern, baseball night in America. And the Marlins and the Cubs are on your local Fox station. It's all this week on your home for baseball every Saturday. Fox and Fox Sports 1. 3-2, Marlins on top. It's bottom 5, halfway through in Miami tonight. Andrew Susac is behind home plate. Buster Posey has left the game.
Posey singled, but remember earlier in the game took that foul tip right square off the mask. So if you have to wonder if there's some residual effects on that foul tip.
Chris Heston misses outside with a breaking ball. Cole Gillespie had a big hit for the Fish. His double started the third. Got a breaking ball and he punctured the gap in left center with a double. And that got Miami started on a 3-run inning.
I think sometimes it depends on how a pitcher's working, but a little different when he has to change midstream with his catcher.
Crawford to first to get Gillespie. This is the foul tip by Marcell Ozuna. Watch the mask and how it reverberates. And let's listen to it as well. Bruce Bochy, a former catcher in the big leagues.
He knows that feeling as well as anybody.
Here's Herron. Big at bat for Herron in a bunt situation with Gillespie at second. Brandon Belt breathing down his throat in 2 strikes. Herron pulls that one to left. Herron pulled the bat back and then punched a ball up the line at first and into the outfield for a single, driving home Gillespie. Miami's first run. Time now for the Geico Marlins moment. 2003. You remember this ballgame, Tommy Hutton? Largest margin of victory in Marlins history, 20-1 over the Braves.
I want to say, was that toward the end of the season? It was on this date. Okay, so it wasn't. 25 hit attack. Only time he had a 25 hit attack, you knew that Miguel Cabrera had something to do with it.
Cabrera had not been in the big leagues very long at that point.
No, because he made his debut in 03 against the Rays.
Gordon pulls it on the ground. Panic. On to first. It's a 1-2-3 inning. First one of the game for either side.
Jose guy, Andres Salgado, a great Marlins fan. He grew his hair ever since Jose Fernandez got hurt. He said he would not be taking it off until Jose Fernandez returned, and they worked it out to take it off today ahead of Fernandez's return tomorrow. And also they did it for charity. And we all want to thank our good pal Lawrence Levy here, who donated $1,000 to Make-A-Wish, which turned out to be a nice charity for a crazy event today. But it was a lot of fun, Lawrence. First of all, thank you again for your kindness.
Craig, that was a one-of-a-kind event that I've never seen like that in my entire life of going to sporting events for about 40 years. I didn't want to miss it, and I was really happy to donate the money that it took to be there when Jose cut his hair, and it was great because even the players were watching from the outfield. It was a crazy day.
I want to talk. We're going to show something too. He's got some great stuff here, but just quickly, you've been bringing a lot of fans here that never been to ball games, sometimes upwards of 50 and more, yes, even in other cities.
Yes, I brought 50 here for the Yankees. No, I brought 106 here for the Yankees game here, and I brought 54 to the one in New York.
Well, you don't know.
Never met them. Never met them before. And tonight I have 6. I have 6 here tonight in the club.
We'll get to that another day. Let me show you some stuff you brought here. Giants Marlins brings back this picture, Pudge, JT Snow, and you've purchased in your collection the memorabilia.
We're actually playing the Giants here, and in 2 days we go to Chicago, just like the series in '03, here and there. This is the famous play. This is the second most famous ball in Marlins history after the Bartman ball. This is the play where Pudge got hit, flipped over and held onto the ball. I got this in one charity auction. This is
the ball.
Ball authenticated by Major League Baseball with a hologram. That's the ball. And these are the actual shoes in that photo. His shoes at different auction. And this is the glove he's wearing inside the batting glove. And I brought it here to encourage the Marlins to beat the Giants. I like the Giants, but not when they play the Marlins.
That's good stuff, and he's got all the memorabilia. And you really, people think sometimes they see you everywhere. And you're doing a great job of bringing people, many of them who said, I've never been to a game before. Many of them maybe don't have the income to come and sit in these great seats that you get. So we really do a great job. I think people need to know that. Harold did a really nice story on you about a couple weeks ago, too, in Miami Hill.
The best part about this is I realized early on that when you go to a sporting event, you lose the stress and drama of your everyday life. And I said, hey, guys, we all have something in common here tonight. We do. Yeah, we're all sports fans and we're all Americans. So let's keep it going and root for our team to win, and that's what I do.
It's good. And Conine would like this ball, by the way.
No, I can't have this ball. This ball is I have a Marlins museum at my office. This is in an actual locked case. I brought it out for the first time for this tonight.
Thanks a lot, Lawrence. Good seeing you.
Thank you.
Pretty good stuff, huh? They're still in pretty good shape, too. Yeah. Not bad.
Yeah, well, that's a sweet collection he's got going. Brandon Belt up now. The Giants getting a leadoff double from Matt Duffy. Andrew Susac moves him over on a ground ball, and now Heron goes to work on Brandon Belt. The Giants have a nice opportunity to tie the game here. Dan Heron would like to get Brandon Belt either with a strikeout or something with a shallow fly ball.
Now remember, Susac hitting in the spot of Posey, who had to leave the game.
Heron looking for a swing and miss. Brought that breaking ball in tight. Ball and a strike. A couple of Brandons back to back. Belt and then Crawford. Heron's got his 2 strikes now.
Kind of interesting for Dan Heron coming into the game. Right-handers were hitting 191 against him. Lefties 256. Tonight it's a split. Half the hits have been hit by lefties, half by righties.
Center field, Ozuna in, now over, makes the catch. Duffy tags on his way home, so's the throw, and it's not in time. So the Giants draw even here in the 6th.
Well, they got the job done. The ground ball got the runner over to third, and then Duffy was able to score on the sacrifice fly. Kind of goes along a little bit when you and I were talking with Brett Butler. And I think it's a great idea we keep track of runners in scoring position, but to keep track of if the batter gets a sacrifice bunt down, if he moves a runner over, if he gets him in on a sac fly, to keep track of that. Are you 4 for 8 in those situations? Are you 4 for 15?
Count 2-1.
A lot of pitches for Dan Herron. Sam Tyson getting loose, but 100 pitches as he tries to finish the 6th inning. You know, it's a typical, I don't want to say typical, because sometimes he has better command, and that's probably where Dan's been a little short tonight. His stuff's the same. Hasn't quite had the command. We talked about, what, 4 3-ball counts, 5 now. So that's why that pitch count's got up. But you look at the scoreboard, and he's managed to keep the game a tie game, keep his club in the game.
Chuck Hernandez watching Herron work. Chuck saying today just marvels at how smart Herron is, how astute he is, how prepared he is. That ball's hit a ton. Right center field and deep. Gillespie back, looks up, and it's gone. Brandon Crawford, his 11th. And just like that, the Giants are back on top.
Well, that's a career high for Brandon Crawford. 11 home runs, and for the Giants shortstop, he has 47 RBIs, but a great hitter's count, and boy, did he get a perfect pitch to hit.
Two runs here in the 6th. 4-3 San Francisco. Here's Gregor Blanco. Motioning into Miami's dugout that he'd like to finish here, get through this inning. You saw it looked like Mike Goff on the phone down to the Marlins pen. I don't know if they were checking to see if Dyson was ready or not, but it looked like the Marlins wanted to make the move, and they didn't get the answer they wanted when they called down to the bullpen. Here's the 1-0. That one's hit into right field. Blanco with a base hit. And so I would think the Marlins are going to make that move now. Dan Jennings points to the Marlins bullpen. Dyson coming in. Herron moving out. Kendall Toyota called to the bullpen. 4-3 Giants. and a 4-3 lead. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced, retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Marlins. 105 pitches for Dan Herron. Couldn't quite get through this inning. And he leaves his runner, Gregor Blanco, who's at first, in the hands of Sam Dyson.
Well, you could tell Dan Herron wanted to finish this inning after he gave up the home run. But after the base hit by Blanco, you just had to make a move, and I think Dan realizes that too.
Justin Maxwell, first hitter that Dyson gets. Ball and a strike. That one looked like it was in a bit. Maxwell takes down low. University of Maryland product. Turned down Harvard. We know Michael Hill hears about that. Got to the big leagues with Washington. Some time with Houston, Kansas City. Shallow right, Gordon out there. And D. Gordon makes the catch. Giants are done, but not before they scored twice and reclaim the lead. It's 4-3. Yelich, Danny Echeverria, Justin Bour in the 6th against Chris Heston. Brandon Crawford with a home run to right. Yelich shortens the bunt, takes a breaking ball out, and it is 1-0. That's a part of Yelich's game we haven't seen a lot of this year, but you know he has it, and third basemen know he has it. And that'll help Yelich. We saw it last year. He brings that third baseman in and punches it hard to the left side. That'll add a few hits every season. Pulls that one to first. Belt. And there's one out. Whether it's a family celebration, networking event, or a fundraiser, arrange your next group outing at Marlins Park. All new food and beverage options, including VIP groups, all-you-can-eat seats, and the new Clevelander Sunday Brunch. 1877 Marlins, or go to marlins.com/groups today.
Might have to take a peek every once in a while at that Cleveland Tampa Bay game. Carlos Carrasco for the Indians through 6 innings is perfect with 10 strikeouts.
Is it just me, or is that happening like every 5 days?
No, it's not you. It seems like it's happening a lot.
Someone has a perfect game or a no-hitter going to the 7th or the 8th.
He had those back-to-back games of Max Scherzer.
Ow! That one surprised Echeverria and Heston. That came in and got him. Well, we told you he leads the National League in hit batters. That's his 8th. He's certainly in a 1-run game with 1 out. Doesn't want to hit Echeverria.
Yeah, you see how he tries to run that 2-seamer in. Yeah, he's not trying to hit Echeverria, certainly. He's just trying to jam him with a good 2-seamer on the hands.
Now Bohr, who was singled and bounced to first.
Yeah, you've had a great run reading about the White Sox left-hander Chris Sale. Chris Sale tied a major league record, 8 consecutive games of 10 or more strikeouts. Tied Pedro Martinez. Had the journeyman left-hander up in Seattle, Mike Montgomery, has thrown back-to-back complete games. So it hasn't always been the star pitcher that's been taking games deep, throwing good ones.
We got Echeverria over at first, who has swiped 3 bags. George Cantos in the bullpen. If you've just joined us, Buster Posey left the game after getting hit on the mask with a foul tip. No word from the Giants clubhouse. It is Andrew Susac behind the plate. Moore takes a strike. There's a look at Susac.
Now we saw Susac last night when Posey played first base.
One and two. More homering yesterday. Real Muto waits on deck. Tapper up the line, and it's foul. It stays at 2-2. Cubs and Mets are still scoreless as a Bartolo Colon start for the Mets. Of course, the Marlins see the Cubs on Friday afternoon. John Lester and Bartolo Colon dueling shutouts, and they have both struck out 7.
Yeah, both of those teams in offensive woes right now, the Cubs and the Mets. Last night, remember, the Cubs, a 1-0 win.
Bohr's chopper belts. Crawford's 3-6-3. The San Francisco Giants have turned 4 double plays in 6 innings. 4-3 San Francisco. pitcher. Extraordinary moments happen every night in baseball, but on one night they all happen in one place. Don't miss the 86th All-Star Game. Coverage begins 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. That's on Tuesday, July 14th on Fox. It really will be a great American ballpark on that night.
And you can still vote. You can still vote, so don't hold back. And make sure Dee Gordon is the starting second baseman for the National League.
Love to see Giancarlo Stanton named as a starter as well. Travis Ishikawa gets the at-bat. Chris Heston is done for the night. So Heston goes 6 innings. Voting ends tomorrow. Marlins.com/votes. Ishikawa against Dyson. Giants got a 1-0 lead in this in the third. On that error at first base, Justin Bour charged with a tough error. Look, the Marlins scored 3 times in the bottom of that inning, take a 3-1 lead. And that's the last we've heard of the Marlins offense. Heston rolled 4 double play balls. Right, Marlin fans are spoiled watching Adeiny Echeverria and Dee Gordon up the middle. But watching Brandon Crawford and Joe Panik these 2 nights has been really impressive.
Well, watching them, you can see why Giants fans are spoiled.
Let's check in with Craig Minervini.
All right, thank you very much, John. I'm with Lawson. Rich, I'm sorry, I was just talking to our producer. Lawson Krause is with us. The first-round pick, who's had a crazy week because you got picked by the Panthers, and then last week you were here with the prospects, not a Panther yet, and you hit a home run here.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We had the chance to come out here and do a little batting practice, and I was lucky enough to put one out there.
At the time, you don't know you're going to the Panthers. Were you surprised? I'm sure you're happy to be in South Florida.
Yeah, very happy. It was a pretty exciting day for myself and my family, and I couldn't be happier right now.
You got developmental camp going. A lot of the guys you played against in either the junior leagues or college guys also over the last 2 years are here. How's camp going for you in Coral Springs?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, it's definitely a unique learning experience for myself and for these other guys. And to come in here and meet these guys again and to get to know the coaching staff and the management, it's been great. And just trying to learn as much as I can.
Now, hockey is different than baseball, where a 17, 18-year-old is not going to get into the major leagues. Josh Naylor's a big guy the Marlins like, but it's probably going to take a few years. In hockey, it's happened. I mean, the Panthers are a good example. Aaron Ekblad was Rookie of the Year. How about for your 18?
Yep, I'm 18.
But you have a shot to make the team at least, or at least to have a good look.
I mean, I'm just going to come into camp with the attitude that I'm going to make it tough for them to send me home. So, I mean, if I do that, I think I can make good things happen here.
What about the first pitch? That can be a lot of nerves, tension. Your teammates here, what'd you think?
Yeah, it was a lot farther than what I thought it would be.
60 feet, 6 inches.
Yeah, no kidding. I put it in the dirt there, but it's all fun. It was a cool experience for myself.
Good luck in your season as you get going on the Panthers. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
That's Lawson Krause, guys. Back to you.
Thank you, Craig. After an Angel Pagan single, you just saw Sam Dyson throw one away at first. Joe Panik at the plate. San Francisco already up a run. Chuck Hernandez watching intently. His father Charlie probably watching as well in Tampa.
Always. And I'm sure we'll be watching tomorrow.
Absolutely. Now that's something, because Charlie had a chance, as did Chuck, to see Jose pitch at Alonzo High School over on the other side of the state. That one is off of Panik's helmet. Ends up foul. It's 0-2.
The Giants tonight, Rich, have had at least one base hit in every inning.
Panik is 1 for 3. Had 2 hits last night.
Changes things a little bit after the error. that allowed Pagan to get to second base.
Second error of the night for Miami.
That's a changeup. When you see Dyson, see that ball dive down and away. 87, 88.
That Crawford home run in the middle of the box score, a big one, gave the Giants the lead. Was the second run of the 6th inning. Here in the 7th, 1-2. Two balls, two strikes. Two. On the ground, Gordon goes to get it and gets the out at first. There's 2 outs. For those of you that just watched Japan advance to the Women's World Cup Finals, welcome to Marlins Park. Giants are up by a run. Doubleheader this Sunday here on Fox Sports Florida. You've got Marlins and Cubs live from Wrigley Field. And then later in the night on Fox, Women's World Cup Finals. So it's USA against Japan, 6 Eastern. Matt Duffy now. Duffy's doubled, lined out, and hit a hot smash that Chavarria made a terrific play on. And he's had good at bats. He rolls that one third base line. The throw to first is up the line, and a run will score. That had such an odd start to it. It almost seemed like it was off the foot of Duffy. There was some hesitation coming in from Dyson. Then the throw is up the line. Bohr had his glove taken off.
And you hope Justin Bohr is okay with that glove taken off. It's always a tough play for a first baseman. Yeah, I was with you. I thought the ball was a foul ball, but Duffy came out running. The throw sails into the runner, and as Bohr reached in,
it hit the dirt, but I don't think it hit his toe. It really died, and he didn't hesitate. If a hitter feels it hit his toe, he's usually going to hesitate out of the box. He was not inside the baseline. It was just a bad throw.
Well, I tell you, poor angle throwing, and it's the second error for Sam Dyson in this inning. You just can't get through an inning throwing the ball around the infield.
It's going to go as a base hit before the throwing error. And Dyson has 2 of Miami's 3 errors tonight. And it's a costly run for sure with 2 outs. And here is Susak. Susak's second at bat. Posey was 1 for 2. Runner goes, huge jump, and no chance at all.
This is an inning like Sam Dyson doesn't know where he is. Letting guys steal, get a jump that big, throwing the ball around. You can't do that when you come in a close game. He came in a 1-run game. And all of a sudden, it's a 2-run lead.
Two-0. And a strike.
I know Chuck Hernandez isn't all that pleased right now either.
strike. 2-2. Strickland ready in the bullpen. And Susac strikes out. A pair of throwing errors opens the door, and the Giants walk in for another run.
This was giving me a reason to battle in life and to accomplish things that I thought were impossible.
That's tomorrow, 11:30 for Marlins Live. 12:10 first pitch to be thrown by Jose Fernandez. Got that game for you on Fox Sports Florida. Here tonight, San Francisco had a 1-0 lead. Marlins took a 3-1 lead. The Giants worked and worked, got themselves even, and now have a 5-3 lead. Hunter Strickland out of San Francisco's bullpen.
One thing that has always been a constant for the Giants over their World Series years. They've mixed and matched in a few areas, but they've had a lot of the same pieces.
JT Realmuto to left. Hangs up for Gregor Blanco. And an out to start the 7th. Strickland started the year in Sacramento. The Giants AAA affiliate now in Sacramento. That used to be an Oakland outpost.
Yeah, the Giants for a long time were in Fresno. Nice ballpark in Sacramento.
Very nice ballpark in Sacramento. I believe it's called Raley's Field. And as rumor would have it, they built a gorgeous, it's on the river in downtown, and they built it with the design in case a major league team ever decided it wanted to play in Sacramento, you could enlarge that to major league specs. But it is a gorgeous setting in downtown Sacramento, the state capital of California. Bring on the cars, shall we? California, they're regulated, their emissions. That's another story. All right, here it is, tomorrow's starters. Jose Fernandez, Matt Cain. There's storylines everywhere in this one, from Jose's return pitching here in Little Havana at Marlins Park, and then Matt Cain coming back after a year away. Cain with a variety of injuries last year and even this year to start the year that has kept him out of the Giants rotation. So it's Cain, it's Fernandez. We start it at 11:30 with Marlins Live.
How about throwing this in for good measure? The fact that Jose is 12-0 with a 1.09 earned run average at Marlins Park. By the way, Carlos Carrasco, 7 no-hit innings, but he did walk a batter. So he's gone through 7, but here's where it gets touchy with pitchers of today. He's thrown 94 pitches.
Ozuna takes the breaking ball for a strike. By the way, tomorrow on Marlins Live and during the telecast, Jessica Blaylock will be out and about and have live reports from around Little Havana, around Miami. Certainly a stop at Cafe Versailles. 0-2. Ozuna swings and misses, and Hunter Strickland makes quick work of Miami. Marlins haven't had a hit since the 4th and trail it 5-3. Top of the Marlins. It's the 8th now. Marlins roster move yesterday. Justin Nicolino down and Brian Morris back. Nicolino made a couple of starts, and I would expect to see him back this year with some more starts.
Boy, impressive 7 shutout innings in Cincinnati. Struggled somewhat in his next start, but you're absolutely right. He'll go down. He'll get regular reps every 5 days. And good to have Brian Morris back. That just helps things in the bullpen.
So here's Morris now. Former first-round pick of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and a real nice bullpen piece last year. He gets Brandon Belt, Brandon Crawford, and Gregor Blanco. Giants have hits up and down their lineup. No matter how big or how small or the spot in the lineup, even Chris Heston, starting pitcher, had a double. Gordon records the out. T-Mobile presents Data Strong, fan of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag FL Data Strong fan, or data or data. Tomato, tomato.
Potato, potato. The good thing about it, not it's a good thing when you go on the DL, but for Brian Morris, it was a lower back strain. It wasn't arm related, elbow, shoulder. And when he's on, live fastballs and really good sliders, a hard slider.
Dan Herron went 5 2/3, 10 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned. Sam Dyson gave up an unearned run. That was in an inning and a third. And so here is Morris trying to keep it a 2-run game and give Miami a couple more shots. Breaking ball lined to right. Gillespie is there and he makes the catch. Crawford out number 2. And it's Blanco coming up. He's 2 for 3. The Giants at 42 and 36. I think it's on every Giants mobile device is the Dodger app with ominous music just to check in and see what the Dodgers are doing. Los Angeles is in Arizona tonight. After winning last night, Dodgers are 44 and 35. Game and a half ahead of the Giants. There's a bunt by Blanco, and Morris has it tick off his glove in fair territory. It's going to be a base hit.
Boy, just another hit for Blanco. Number 1 against the Marlins and number 2 in this ballpark.
Yeah, his average north of 400 here at Marlins Park.
438 to be exact.
And that's 48 at bats and 21 hits.
By the way, on that app that the Giants fans have, it's Giants Hall of Fame broadcaster John Miller doing a Vin Scully impersonation.
First pitch is a ball. It's 1-0. The Giants have a long line of Hall of Fame broadcasters. One of them passed away, Lon Simmons. You can see the patch on the Giants uniform.
Well, just what a prince of a guy.
Swing and a miss by Maxwell. An incredible voice to begin with, and an outstanding career as the voice of the Giants and the Athletics, and a terrific football play-by-play announcer for the San Francisco 49ers. To right, Gillespie at the track has room and makes the catch. 5-3 San Francisco. Chicago, and it's a day game on Friday, kids. That's right, Joe Madden in the Ivy.
Anthony Rizzo.
Anthony Rizzo, ladies and gentlemen. the Cubby Bear after the game. And then Fenway Park. How cool is that place?
The Fens.
Wait a minute. Was that a Bobby Valentine sighting?
How did he get in there?
Big Poppy.
You get Big Poppy and the Panda.
Cole Gillespie. And first pitch breaking ball for a strike. Hunter Strickland was outstanding in the 7th. A 6-pitch inning. And Bruce Bochy brings him back, and why not, to pitch the 8th. Gillespie, Ichiro's on deck, then you got D. Gordon. Gillespie a double in the 3rd. He's bounced out. Boston beaten badly by Toronto today, 11-2. Tommy talked about that for the time of game, and a Mark Burley win, 9-4.
Yeah, even though there were 11 runs scored, Mark Burley picked up his 9th win in his 7 innings of work, and the game was played in 2 hours and 19 minutes.
Three and one. Ichiro on deck. Miami down a couple. Giants have 13 hits. Miami has 5, and the 3-1 from Strickland. .97-mile-an-hour fastball.
You have to wonder if this is the only hitter Strickland faces, because if Ichiro's announced, then you have T. Gordon and Yelich. So that would be 3 lefties in a row.
In, and it's ball 4. Now over in St. Pete, we were talking about Hector Carrasco. 10 strikeouts, a walk. He still has the no-hitter, and he's got 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. So he is at 98 pitches.
Yeah, 7 1/3 inning.
Ichiro now. Marlins need base runners. They got 1 at first. Ichiro takes a strike.
Not too many in his long career. Not too often has Ichiro taken an 0 for 17. He's not a real video room guy. He'll check it out once in a while. He has his routine. He knows the process. He knows that these times come, and it's just getting through these situations.
Ball and a strike. Strickland probably around just for Ichiro. A liner. It's caught there at third by Duffy. Let's see if Bruce Bochy sticks with him against Gordon. And here comes Bochy on his way out. And doesn't look like Strickland's all that happy. He'll come out of the ball game. Javier Lopez coming in. 5-3 Giants. D. Gordon awaiting an at-bat. Toyota Tread, most hits through June. Gordon 113 hits. That is the all-time record for the Marlins. Juan Pierre, Hanley Ramirez, Luis Castillo, Miguel Cabrera also on that list. Going into play tonight, Gordon on pace for 234 hits on the season. Now he's 1 for 3 tonight. In the last 2 decades, only 2 other players have had more than 234 hits. Ichiro's done it 3 times, and Darren Erstad. So here's Gordon against the lefty specialist. Chopper over the middle, and Crawford gets a double play. That is 5 double plays by the Giants tonight. Unbelievable. Telling everyone how the Giants have turned 5 double plays.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing, and certainly they help pitchers. 6-4-3, they're number 1. How about Crawford involved in this one? The flip, another 6-4-3. Good turn by Panic. 6-4-3 again. Justin Bohr, this time a nifty 3-6-3. Good feed by Belt, back to the bag. And then this one, probably the 2 quickest outs that Lopez has ever recorded. An easy double play once Crawford fielded that ball right by the bag.
It's a double header's worth of double plays.
Brandon Crawford's been involved in all of them.
Steve Cishek into the ball game. Cishek will get the very bottom of the order. And then Angel Pagan and Joe Panic. A-Ray Adrianza will pinch hit for the Giants.
When the Giants designated Casey McGee for the second time, it was Adrianza who got the call.
Adrianza takes, counts 1-1. 8 innings of that no-hitter complete by Carrasco of the Indians in St. Pete.
And 106 pitches at this point. And a comfortable lead. It's 8-0 Cleveland.
He has struck out 12 and walked 1.
So he struck out 2 in that 8th inning because he had 10 going into the 8th.
Full count on Adrianza, Giants pinch hitter here in the 9th inning. Yelich runs it down. This July, baseball's best players gather in Cincinnati. Midsummer Classic, home field advantage, the World Series on the line. Our coverage begins of the 2015 Major League Baseball All-Star Game, July 14th, 7 Eastern on Fox, and streams live on Fox Sports Go. Last chance to vote is tomorrow, so get them in. And let's see if D. Gordon will be starting. He certainly will be there in Cincinnati, but you'd love to see him start. And see if Giancarlo can be named as a starter despite the injury. Echeverria on to first. Angel Pagan is out.
You would expect, too, if D. Gordon is that starting second baseman, that come the bottom of the first inning, he'd be leading things off for the National League as well.
Marlins Live brought to you by Checkers, coming up after the game.
Last few times for Cishek, we've seen some nice consistency. Tries to find that back door with the breaking ball, like that. Tries to keep that sinker down. That's really where he was getting in trouble, because the velocity was fairly consistent, but the location was not.
Panic lifts it foul. Two outs in the ninth. Miami down 2. Yelich, Echeverria, and Bohr scheduled for the Marlins in the ninth. Bottom of. Santiago Garcia, San Francisco bullpen. For Steve Cishek, an exciting week next week. A chance to go back home, up into the Northeast, to Fenway Park. Massachusetts kid. Long run, and Yelich sees it land a row in.
Needs a little extra energy from that energy guy down there.
Someday, Tommy, I envision you and maybe me on that energy team.
I think you'd have a lot more energy than I would.
Then again, maybe not. Edge got a glove on it, and Panic is aboard with a hit.
Kidding me? E6?
Seriously?
That might be under review. This ball is stung. That's a base hit all the way. It's spinning. It's hit hard. And it would have taken a diving stop. Then he would have had to come up and pick the ball and make the play. Not even close.
I suspect that will be under review and changed. Duffy, who has 2 hits at the plate. Cishek gets a strike.
If the error does stand, and I would be totally surprised, it would be the first 4-error game for the Marlins this year.
2 of those throwing errors by Sam Dyson, and an error by Justin Bour on a throw to first, which was a tough error to give Bour that could have gone to Echeverria. A swing and a miss. 0-2. One and 2. The Giants' Matt Duffy. Hector Carrasco has an out in the bottom of the 9th. He's at 114 pitches. That's on the outside corner. Steve Cishek ends the top of the 9th, but Miami needs a couple runs to keep playing at the very least. Santiago Casilla coming in. South Florida Honda dealers by Kubota. For more information or to find a participating dealer, go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com. In Miami tonight, the San Francisco Giants rallied with a couple runs in the 6th, one in the 7th, a 5-3 lead into the bottom of the 9th. Santiago Casilla into the ball game.
Well, Rich, clear heads have prevailed. That has been ruled a base hit and no error for Echeverria. So Panic gets himself the base hit.
So no panic from you then?
Yeah, no.
And Joe is pretty happy too because he gets the hit. Christian Yelich, Danny Echeverria, Justin Bour, Santiago Casilla was a setup guy that took over as a closer last year, of course, and a nice run in through the postseason to another world championship. He interned, so to speak, under Sergio Romo, and Romo is fit back into that 8th inning job. Yelich takes outside. Yelich has walked twice and bounced out. Carrasco's thrown 123 pitches and he's got 2 outs. Fastball misses up. It's 2-0 to Yelich. Two and one. There will be no no-hitter tonight in St. Pete. The Rays have a 2-out single, and Carrasco loses his no-hitter and his shutout. That one pops fouling into the seats by Yelich.
I think it was by Joey Butler. And it was, you know, we're having an opportunity to take a peek at it. And that was a nice moment for Carrasco. You know, okay, gave up the hit. He gave a little glove clap. Good job. You got a clean base hit.
It was a line drive over the head of the second baseman. Here now, Yelich trying to get aboard. Casillas come back to even the count, 2-2. And misses down low. .20 for 23 in saves this year. Last 9 appearances, has not given up a run. That the work of Santiago Casilla. Yelich into center field, a solid hit. And Miami has life here in the ninth.
Well, Christian Yelich keeps his little string alive, and he's had a nice night. He's been on base 3 times, 2 walks, 1 for 2 night. So 8 base hits in his last 12 at bats. Head on the ball right back up the middle.
And here's the challenge right now for the Marlins. Don't hit into a double play. The Marlins have hit into 5 tonight.
And 2 of them from Echeverria, who stands in there now.
Pitch down low. And Andrew Susac on his way out to talk to Santiago Casilla. One 1-0 to Adeiny Echeverria. He goes after a high fastball. Ball and a strike. Runs have been hard to come by for the Marlins over the last 2 weeks. Etch, and it's into center field, a hit. Jam shot, and he got enough of it to get it over Panic's head.
Good job of fighting that pitch off. Early in the game, he rolls over on a couple and hit into double plays. That one he stayed back to get the base hit and really make things interesting here in the 9th inning.
Well, here's Justin Bour.
I've tried not to do it a lot, but it is a situation that you can't help but think of once in a while, and this is a situation where in weeks past we would have been looking at Giancarlo coming to the plate right here.
Well, the next best thing in a Marlin uniform is Justin Bour,
who's number 2 on the team in home runs. And if you go back to last night, his home run, he lined out to center field. He banged a single up the middle in the 2nd inning. He's had much better swings the last 2 days.
Breaking ball misses up, and right now Casilla doesn't look sharp. Santiago Casilla, in 34 appearances, has given up 3 home runs. Very deep in center is Pagan. The Marlins do have great speed on the bases. Yelich at second and Echeverria at first. So Moore doesn't have to hit one out. If he puts one in the gap, the Marlins have a chance to tie the game.
Yeah, we've talked and we've mentioned it a few times. Justin Bour, one of the few hitters we see who does not use batting gloves. Talked to him the other day. He said he's pretty much done that all the time. He said he tried gloves a little bit, but pretty much all the time he's gone with no batting gloves, gripping it and ripping it.
I think Bruce Bochy sees what we see with Casilla, because Sergio Romo is up and he is trying to get loose in a hurry. (1-0) to Bour. Drive to right. It's deep. It is over. Walk off. Marlins win it. Grip it and rip it. Justin Bour and the Fish beat the Giants. A walk-off shot. The big kid comes through. What a moment. And he and D. Gordon parade around. He could carry 3 or 4 guys on that back. Bruce Bochy was trying to get Romo ready as fast as he could, but he couldn't get loose fast enough.
Well, you're right. He's seen him enough. He saw something wasn't right. Couple of base hits. Justin Bour got himself in a good hitting position, and he did rip it.
D. Gordon is ready. And Bour says, get it over with.
Bring it on.
A feel-good win for the Fish. They get 2 runners on, Yelich and Echeverria. Here's the pitch. Fastball, and Bour jumped it. A low liner that kept rising and got out to right. Warren Henry drive of the game. Justin Bour, a walk-off shot. And the Marlins beat the Giants. And joining us now is Justin Bour. Justin, congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate that.
What? Talk us through the at-bat. I know Casilla missed up on his first pitch. What happened after that?
You know, Yelich did a great job getting on base, and so did Hetchy, and then a count for me to take a hit in. Just took a good swing at it.
All of a sudden, it looks like, Justin, you had some struggles, admittedly so, in June, but the last 2-3 games, you squared a couple of balls up last night. You hit a ball well for a single tonight. Things just seem to start falling into place a little bit better for you.
It's just the way the game works, you know. Sometimes you got to take the bad with the good. Thank you.
There's the ball, and I'm sure you got a special place for that. Maybe your dad's got a spot for that.
Who knows? Who knows if he does or not?
It's often said that for a young player like you, after your first month and a half, the league will adjust to you, and then you have to adjust to the league. It looks like you've made that adjustment. Is that accurate?
You got to keep working every day, you know. That's all there is.
Now, did you feel D. Gordon on your back there, or were you just so fired up?
He's really heavy, man. He's really heavy.
He is. Now, are you expecting a dunk as well?
I don't think so. No, I think I'm okay. He got me all right with the Gatorade, so I think we're good.
We talked about it, you and I talked about it actually around the cage, about the no gloves. You've always just ripped it like that. It's just a comfortable feeling for you, isn't it?
Just grab the bat and go hit, man.
It's just like you and your brother with your dad pitching, right?
Absolutely.
All right, Justin,
all right,
congratulations. All right. Justin Bour with a walk-off shot, and Miami takes down the world champs for the second night in a row. 6-5 the final. Marlins win it. And the Fish will celebrate this one, but not too late into the night. Got a day game tomorrow. A walk-off shot by Justin Bour. Marlins Live coming up.